Hey guys, I'm Grace and welcome to Dollies and Dread. I am here this week with Jessica. Say hi, Jess.
Hello.
Yeah. Jess is Three Chickadees Nursery on Instagram. It's nursery, right? That's in there?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
All right. So this week we are discussing how to find our theme, stalkers and close calls. So we have two stories, both from Reddit. I will be doing true crime cases, like actual cases, but just to start us out and basically buy myself some time to get things set up and going, we're going to do a couple off of Reddit, and we will do those now and then, and we'll do some more fiction and lore-based scary stories as well. But to start us off, we are going to do a couple stories that I got off Reddit. So, the first story is called When a Man Follows You Home, which is super creepy.
Right.
So our first case is When a Man Follows You Home. So, I was 22 and living on my own for the first time when this happened in the mid-90s. I had just gotten off work around 11 p.m. To reach my apartment building, I could either walk on the sidewalk lit with street lamps, decently trafficked, or cut across this communal garden, pitch black, set back from the street. I saved about 1 whole minute of walking time by cutting through the communal garden, but being young and stupid, a lot of times I took the shortcut. That night, I got that weird feeling to not take the shortcut. I kept to the sidewalk, but there's no one else around. When I got past the garden, all of a sudden this large man pops up from its exit path. There was no way he could have been in front of me or just behind me as I was walking. I would have noticed him. The only logical explanation was that he had been hiding in the pitch black garden. I won't say, well, no, that's what I'm saying. I will pause there.
Nope.
We can just pop in with some commentary since we're just figuring this thing out. But I absolutely, I think that's like the one big thing I've taken from all of the true crime that I listen to and scary stories and stuff. Follow your gut. Like, if your gut says, don't take the shortcut, don't take the shortcut.
Well.
My phone just decided we are not reading that story now, and I gotta go find where I was. Okay. But yeah, no, absolutely follow your gut, because there's some bad juju on that shortcut. So the only illogical explanation was that he had been hiding in the pitch black garden. A drunk who had been sleeping it off? No, my body was screaming at me to get the hell out of there. I began walking faster. My dad had taught me to always carry my keys in my fist with the key pointed out in case I needed to punch someone, so I had that. But I'm 5'4", probably weighed about 110 pounds. This guy was tall and big. My only chance was to outpace him. That is traumatizing because I got asthma. I would have been like, immediately, just from anxiety hyperventilating. But the keys,
Yeah, I can't.
have you ever heard that? The keys in between your fingers, like in
Yeah,
between your
I
knuckles?
have heard that, and I have done that before, actually.
I have too. I've done that.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know, sometimes I'll get like the heebies when I'm like
Yeah.
walking to my car. So I keep a small bat in my car. Her name is Lucy.
I won't say what I keep in my car, but it's not a bat.
Noted. Never stalk Jess to her Jeep. Okay. But yeah, no, I've done that, and that just I would start hyperventilating just thinking. Anyway. Okay. I'm speed walking at this point, and I feel him matching my pace, getting closer. He's breathing heavily. I feel this angry energy coming off of him, but my apartment building is right there, so I put on a burst of speed. When I reach the entrance, 2 people are leaving and hold the door for me. And him.
Oh, no.
I don't know why I didn't tell them I thought this guy was following me. My mind froze, and I was just trying to get inside my apartment. And I will also say, I mean, I get that, because it's so easy to say, like, oh, well, I would have done this, I would have done that, you know, like, scream for help or what, but, like, fight, flight, freeze, and it sounds like she just froze.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine what I would do in that situation. I probably would have been like, oh, hold the door for politeness, you know, like, just muscle memory, basically.
Well, you know, we're taught as women to not draw a lot of attention to ourselves, and I think that has a lot to do with it too. And I've started telling my girls, if you ever feel like somebody is following you, make noise. Be loud. Call them out. Like,
Yes.
I've
Do
started
not let
telling
them be
that
comfortable
because
following you.
no, don't be polite. I said, the thing is, if you're rude and you're wrong, you can apologize. But if you're rude and you're right, it might save your life.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
I'm trying to tell them.
Yeah, I said that. I ran through this earlier to time it, like just by myself doing kind of my own little commentary, trying to get a gauge of what the time would be like. That is what I said. I said, you do not owe manners. Like, you do not owe a stranger your time. You do not owe entertaining a conversation. If you are uncomfortable or feel, like you said, be rude, and if you're wrong, apologize. But, like, that is, don't be polite to strangers.
No,
if you are uncomfortable,
never.
if someone's making you feel uncomfortable or unsafe, do not be polite. You do not owe that to anybody. And like you were saying, be rude. It could save your life.
Yeah.
Plus, I was still trying to rationalize it. Maybe he was visiting someone in the building. Maybe it was all just a coincidence. Don't be paranoid. Be paranoid.
Always be paranoid.
Always. I stay paranoid, and I know people are like, oh, I don't know how you can live like that. At least I'm living.
That's right.
You know? Like, be paranoid. Maybe, because clearly, I mean, gives me the heebies. I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
But just visiting, like, I get it because I have done that. I have literally had interactions that freaked me out and then gone back and, went like, okay, well, maybe I was just overreacting. Maybe I was, no, you are not overreacting. And I feel like for us, we get it too. Our kids, it's like, it's 10,000 times scarier.
It is.
But yeah, no, I stay paranoid. Like, I saw this thing, my brain stopped working for a second. I had to get my train of thought. But I saw a video, and it was his mom. She was like, shopping hack. And she had turned the cart around. She turned the cart around so her kid could drive. And that, in theory, that's a great idea. And there was outright, like, World War III in the comments, because people were like, someone will snatch your kid. And other people like, how can you live being that paranoid, blah, blah, blah. And I was just sitting here like, someone was like, I'm not letting my kid scream and throw a fit just because you all are paranoid of some urban legend. And I was like, she was like, so show me some stats. And I was like, do you have Google? Do you have 3 seconds of time? Because you type in kid snatched from shopping cart, and it's pages and pages and pages and pages, and people just don't take that seriously. It drives me nuts. Anyway, so no, be paranoid, because that also could save your life. Just be prepared. Yep. I don't even consider it paranoid.
No, I don't either. Aware.
Aware. Be aware of your surroundings. One headphone in only if you have to have a headphone in. Like, aware and prepared. I don't consider that paranoid. But anyway, so besides, it only took a couple seconds for them to be out the door. I had missed my chance. I'm climbing the stairs as fast as I can. It's a 3-story building, and I live on the 3rd floor. He's climbing the stairs, too, rolling up right behind me, panting, that evil energy just emanating from him. I'm fast, but he's putting on speed. I get to my floor, which has 4 apartments on the right side, where I live, and 4 on the left. I pass by apartments 1 and 2, he's still right behind me. I stop at apartment 3, where I live, and he stops in front of apartment 4, where I know he doesn't live. So, like, at this point, he is, like, just confirmed. I mean, the fact, I think, I will be driving in my neighborhood, and if someone is behind me long enough, I'll start taking turns that are not my turns, just to be extra careful.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And so, the fact that he, like, went in to the apartment, and she didn't recognize him, like, went into the complex, that alone would have freaked me out. Like, freaked me out bad. So, he hasn't said anything, just breathing hard, and I think there's no way I'm going to open my apartment door and have him push me inside and R-word me, or worse. He also hasn't knocked on the door of apartment 4. Worth noting is that the apartments are U-shaped, with mine and my neighbor's door being very close together. So I bang my own apartment door as loud as I can, but yell my neighbor's name. Hey, Kevin, let me in. Not his real name. This startles the guy, even more so when my own apartment door doesn't open, but Kevin's does. Kevin sees the guy standing right in front of his door and asks what he wants. The guy starts mumbling something about the wrong apartment, but I have my own door open so fast that I am inside my place in a flash, locking the door behind me. I grab my cordless phone to call the police, but I hear Kevin through the door telling this guy he needs to leave. The guy does. That just freaks me out bad. Like, and good on her for having the forethought to yell her neighbor's name, because I think I would have been that would have probably been a freeze moment for me. Like, I can't say I would have had the forethought to yell for my neighbor, knowing that he would open his door.
No, I don't know what I would have done. I really don't.
It freaks me out. Freaks me out. So, Kevin knocks on my door, asks if I'm okay. I thank him, say that I am, but inside I'm still frozen, adrenaline pumping, scared. I thank him again and tell him to have a good night, lock my door again. I have my phone in my hand, ready to call the police, but I start trying to rationalize it again. What exactly happened? A guy followed me home, but then said he got the wrong apartment. Are the cops going to care about something minor like that? I will say, too, it costs nothing. See something, say something. Even if that's something that happened to you, like, see something, say something. Because this guy having being bold enough to follow her, obviously was lying in wait, and followed her all the way to her apartment, and only left whenever confronted by a man. There's no way. That's either not the first time that he's done that, or it will not be his last.
No.
Like, that is what creeped me out so bad, I think. Was just so willing. Like, you don't know what you're walking into whenever you're going to somebody else's house. Unless he, actively stalked her for, weeks. You know what I mean? Like, if he actively stalked her for weeks.
Yeah.
Unless he did that, he's not going to know, who's in that house, if she has weapons, if she has, So someone who is, like I'm saying, bold enough to follow somebody all the way to their home, that's just wild to me. And that's so scary, because there's no telling. That freaks me out. And I say always call the police. Always. It costs nothing to file a police report, or just call and say, hey, I'm freaked out. And they'll send a patrol car.
And then you've got the paper trail, too, you know.
So if it happens again, or you see him again, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I absolutely, yes, always call. So I try to calm myself down, but I'm also berating myself. Why didn't I run the instant I felt him following me? Why didn't I tell the people we passed when the front door opened that I thought I was being chased? Again, in that moment, fight, flight, or freeze, she froze. And it's so sad, because I know so many, victims of this and something so traumatic, they do that. They'll blame themselves, go back and go, man, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And it is never your fault.
No.
Someone else's action, someone else's decision to follow you home with obviously malicious intent is not your fault. And that makes me so sad, and that's always made me so sad, because I know a lot of victims have that. It's not your fault. There's nothing you did to invite that. People are just psycho. So, worse, why didn't I tell Kevin that the second he opened his door and saved me? He could have let me inside his apartment. We could have called the cops together. But because of my stupidity, everything felt so ambiguous, and I was questioning myself. Which, again, makes me so sad, because it's not her fault. And I can't imagine.
It's not stupidity at all.
Right. It's not, and it really isn't stupidity. Oh, what was she doing? Walking home. Trying to walk home.
Yeah.
And, you
can't prepare yourself for something like that. And no matter how many times you've talked about it or thought about it, in that moment, there's just no way to know for sure how to handle the situation.
Right. Yeah, I could not. I can't, I don't know. I cannot put myself in her shoes. I cannot imagine. And how much fear had to have been going through her. Scary. So, a couple of weeks later, I'm visiting my grandparents, and my grandfather's reading the paper. He tells me that a woman was raped in the apartment building across the street from mine. It's the same guy. He had multiple convictions for sexual assault and had recently been released on parole. So, Kevin saved her life that night.
Wow.
That, Oh, the chills. I can't. That is horrifying. To feel that way, I hope that validated her. Like, I hope that
Right.
validated
Of course.
her trust in her own instincts and her own gut feelings, because to like look back after knowing that about him, to look back and go like, man, I can't believe I was questioning that. I hope she never questions her gut again. Ever.
No, never.
That's wild.
And her quick thinking about knocking on her door and yelling for him, that was so smart of her to do that. Yelling for Kevin like that.
Yes, Kevin's a G. We love Kevin. Be a Kevin. Always help.
Right?
It's scary too though, because nowadays, like, you know, you'll hear of people coming to the door, knocking, asking for help, or asking, hey, can I use your phone? And then it's usually a woman or a younger, like a teenager, and they'll come knock on the door, ask for help, and then somebody breaks in behind them, and they rob you. So I don't trust people. So I don't know if I'd be a Kevin. I'm not gonna lie.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if it was my neighbor, I'd recognize, you know. But yeah, no, be a Kevin. Help. Call the police. See something. Say something. Trust your gut. I think that's the morals. The morals on that one.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Okay, I think we have time for one more if you still want to do the second story.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine.
So this one is actually the first one I found, and I enjoyed it, and I liked it, and it was great. But I ended up doing the other one first. The ending of it was more like, ooh, wow, you know?
Yeah.
And this one's still scary, and I actually talked to this person on Reddit about this story. And okay, so I will try to keep this one a little short and sweet. Shorter and sweeter. But, so this one is A Stalker in the Woods. So this one takes place in the UK. This one also gave me the heebs. And this is another one that just, like, trust your gut. Because you never know people's intentions. And you don't owe being polite to anybody. So, circling back to that. So, alright. A Stalker in the Woods. Decided to drive to the largest forest in my county in hopes of getting back in touch with nature. Needed to clear my head. I asked the local forestry office the best place for a quick walk off of the main trails and was directed to this picturesque spot that's a hard word, picturesque spot a little ways down the road. No reception. With the rare bit of blue sky we get in the UK, I was glad I made the spontaneous trip, and as I walked further down the path, I saw a clearing in the trees to my right. Since the plan was to get closer with nature, I ventured into the trees off of the beaten path. I will pause here, because I remember pausing in the practice run I did to say this, and I feel like it bears repeating. Unless you know the woods you're venturing off the path into, don't do that.
No, that's not smart.
That's a good way to get lost and eaten by a bear or something. But it sounds like this person knew the area, so it's alright, but... It was great. I explored the area, listened to the birds as they swooped from branch to branch, even got a good 5 minutes of meditation in, before I heard what sounded like two animals fighting. I assumed they were just foxes and moved on. If I heard foxes fighting or anything, I'd be out of there.
Yeah.
I'd be out there so fast.
I would do more than move on.
Yeah, I'd be looking like, like Tom and Jerry running in place. I'd be booking it. Okay. I unexpectedly reached the sand road as I emerged from the trees, but decided to walk along it for a moment as I scanned for an entry into the forest on the other side of the road. But as I looked around, I spotted a bra dangling from a bush near the road. Now, I'm aware people go to the forest for all sorts of reasons, but this did put me slightly on edge. Seeing a bra, I'd probably just laugh, but the bra paired with the animal fighting sounds, I think if I didn't already skedaddle, I would have been skedaddling, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that freaked me out. As I turned around, I heard an electric car making its way up the road. By the time I heard it, it was less than 300 yards away. My instincts told me to hide or just avoid being seen, but there was no time, so I simply gave a polite nod as he passed and made my way in the opposite direction. I also said this in the practice one. I do the same thing in my driveway, in my nice little cutesy family neighborhood. I'm like, don't perceive me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come duck in front of Tilly. I'm gonna go hide. I don't know why. I feel like I'm about to get kidnapped, you know? It just freaks me out. So I go hide.
Well, I do that here. If somebody's coming down the side road, I'll walk around behind the house. I just don't I don't want anybody to know that I exist at
all. Yeah, no, I feel that. Okay, so, my instincts told me to hide, just avoid being seen. Polite nod and a little wave. Yeah, don't do that either. Just don't even look at me. Nope. Head high. I'm too good for you. Don't look at me. He parks up behind me, just out of view. I begin to make my way off of the road, intending to go explore further, but when I saw the car, for a moment, doing a 180 turn, then parking again, something told me to turn around and go back the way I came. As I made my way back onto the road, I spot this man in a white shirt behind the bush the bra was hanging from. He was going in the direction I'd just changed course from. I crossed the road and made my way back into the forest I had arrived on the sand road from. When I got slightly further in, I turned around to check if the man continued in the opposite direction, but he didn't. Instead, I see he has also crossed the road and is making his way into the part of the woods I entered. Why are men? Why are men? Just leave me alone. Go to your vehicle. Go, I don't know. Do something that's not in my vicinity. Like, I can't.
If there's one thing they have, it's the audacity.
I know. Truly. Because why? Go get back in your dumb little electric car and leave me alone. Thank you. By this point, I knew I was being followed. There was no way he coincidentally went one way and then turned to head into this part of the forest that I entered. But I kept my pace brisk rather than running. My physical health can go south quick, my knees are brittle, and my ankles are weak, so rushing could cost me, especially since I still had to reach my car and drive away. Same. I, too, am brittle. And I wouldn't have been running either. I also, like real talk, I wouldn't want to run because I'd be like, I don't want you to know that I know you're there. You know what I mean? Like, if I take off running, it's like a predator. You don't run from a wild animal.
Well, I'm a big girl, so if I'm running, you better come on because something's wrong. I'm telling you right now. You see me running, you might as well not even ask questions.
Yeah, that's what I always tell Hudson. He was like, Mommy, do you want to chase me? And I said, Hudson, if Mommy's running, it's because something is chasing Mommy.
Yeah.
Mommy doesn't run for funsies. That's not what we're about here. So, as I traveled further, he was always following, was cursing my luck as I made my way to the end of that section of the forest, just before the path that was after a large patch of grass in the shrubbery. But as I looked back, I couldn't see him. I stopped for longer than I should have, scanning the trees and listening intently, but I hear nothing, see nothing. I make my way back onto the path with some relief and turn one last time to check the tree line. When I see he's not there, I begin considering I was overthinking the whole situation. Again, follow your instincts. It is literally primal. Like, I totally think you can, and not always, because, you know, there are cases like BTK, no one ever knew. Like, he had a whole wife and kids at home and they never suspected.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in some cases, like in this, like, you feel like you're being stalked by a predator and your body knows that. Like, your body can pick that up and is like, absolutely no thank you, don't. And that's why you get, like, creeped out.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't stress that enough. You're not overreacting. You're not being paranoid. Listen to your gut. If your gut is telling you to get out of there, get out. Like, there's bad juju.
Yeah.
Oh, But just as those thoughts cross my mind, I see the man emerge from the opposite side from where he was previously, at the edge of the tree line. He just stared at me. But I wasn't going to take any more chances, so I made my way down the path and back to my car, making sure to get out of there quickly, as I knew he would have to head down the same tight country road. I reported the man to the Forestry Service, but there wasn't much they could do, so that was it. When I paused at the tree line, when I couldn't see him, for him to have emerged from where he did when I had made it back to the path, he had to have approached from another angle, an angle that I admittedly wasn't checking, but I'm glad I never went further into the forest. I'm glad I followed my instincts. Otherwise, the only way back would have been through him, and God knows what his intentions were. I am also glad that you didn't go further into the forest, because, my goodness, I don't want to think about how much worse it would have been if they had. Because, you know, they were walking, and then whenever they saw that dude, they were like, let's go back the other way. To, like, the thought of having to confront, ooh, no, it gives me, give me the chilies.
Good.
The chili willies. But yeah,
No.
that's terrifying. Whew, I can't. Okay, so those are two pretty good starter stories. I hope I did okay. That was a lot. It was very different for me, but it was fun. And I will have Jess on again, I'm sure. We're gonna just kind of do somebody different every week, and depending on that's what I was talking to TT about. She was saying I should ask like friends, which like if they know like cases. Like if they have like a favorite or if there's a case that interests them, if they want to co-host with me on it. So I think that is going to be fun. These are going to be a lot of fun. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a really long time and just never, like, I don't know, I was always too nervous to take the plunge. Well, I plunged. Here we go. But this was so much fun. And Jess, you were amazing. Love you. I'm coming to your house ASAP. Be there sometime to bother you and your animals and your children and your Gary.
You're
a stalker.
Oh, I'm a stalker. All right. Well, this was so much fun. And if you guys liked this video and you want to see more like it, please like and subscribe. And we will see you next Tuesday.